Newcomer should have never put it on the floor. He had an advantage early.
Allo galloping in for two.
On the other end of the court, Austin Reaves was demonstrating excellent chemistry with LeBron James, skillfully playing off his movements to create scoring opportunities. One of the most effective techniques he utilized was leveraging his shoulder against bigger defenders to carve out space. By initiating contact and using his body to shield the ball, Reaves was able to neutralize the size advantage of his opponents and create better angles for his shots or passes. This technique is especially important when facing taller, stronger defenders who can otherwise contest shots effectively. By dipping his shoulder into the defender's body, Reaves disrupted their defensive positioning, making it harder for them to react quickly. This allowed him to either pull up for a mid-range jumper, drive deeper into the lane, or dish the ball to an open teammate. LeBron's presence on the floor further amplified Reaves's effectiveness. Because James draws so much defensive attention, defenders are often forced to make quick decisions about whether to stay with their assignment or help on LeBron. Reaves capitalized on this by making smart cuts, positioning himself in the right spots, and using his physicality to generate separation. His ability to adapt to LeBron's play style, rather than simply relying on isolation, showcased his high basketball IQ. Moreover, this style of play is reminiscent of the way veteran guards have traditionally handled aggressive defense. Players, like Chris Paul, James Harden, and Luka Doncic, have all mastered the art of using their body to gain an advantage against bigger opponents. By studying and applying these techniques, Reaves has added another dimension to his game, proving that skill and positioning can often neutralize pure size and strength.
A little contact and then scores on the little jump shot.
End of the court, Austin Reaves was showcasing his ability to read the game and exploit defensive weaknesses, particularly in his two-man actions with LeBron James. One of the most effective techniques he used was leveraging his shoulder against bigger defenders to create space, allowing him to maneuver more effectively and find scoring opportunities. His physicality, combined with his understanding of timing and angles, made him a consistent threat when attacking the basket or setting up teammates. Beyond his individual efforts, Reaves also did an excellent job of punishing Orlando's defensive miscommunications, particularly during his dribble handoffs, DHOs, with Benjamin Buckets. DHOs are a staple of modern offensive schemes, creating quick-hitting scoring opportunities by forcing defenders to make split-second decisions on whether to switch, fight over the screen, or hedge against the ball handler. Orlando struggled to defend these actions effectively, often leaving gaps that Reaves and Buckets exploited. Whenever Orlando's defenders hesitated or failed to communicate on a DHO, Reaves capitalized by either attacking the open space himself or finding Buckets in an advantageous position. If the defense dropped too far back, Reaves had the patience and skill to knock down a mid-range jumper or drive aggressively toward the rim. If they overcommitted to him, he displayed great awareness by delivering crisp passes to Buckets, allowing him to finish inside or step out for a clean perimeter look. This type of play is particularly difficult to defend when executed with precision and chemistry. The synergy between Reaves and Buckets was evident as they seamlessly adjusted their reads based on Orlando's defensive coverage. On multiple occasions, Reaves recognized when his defender was slow to recover or when a help defender was late on the rotation, using that split-second window to create an easy scoring opportunity.
From distance, and he knocks it down.
Began the game struggling to find his rhythm, missing his first 4 shot attempts. Despite getting good looks, he couldn't seem to get his shot to fall early on. Whether it was a matter of timing, defensive pressure, or just an off start, his usual efficiency was absent in the opening minutes. However, as the game progressed, he remained composed, continued to orchestrate the offense, and found other ways to contribute, while waiting for his shot to come around.
Try it again. Doncic trying to go into a dance with 2, with 1. That's pretty good defense by Carter Jr. that time. But
despite Luka's slow start, Hayes was making a significant impact by dominating the boards, consistently securing rebounds off his team's missed shots. His presence in the paint provided crucial second-chance opportunities, helping to keep the offense alive even when shots weren't falling early. His effort and physicality on the glass gave his team an edge in controlling possessions and maintaining momentum. On the other end, Paolo Banchero had been shooting an impressive 42% from three throughout the month of March, an undoubtedly well-documented statistic on every scouting report. Given this, it raises an obvious question: why wasn't he being aggressively challenged on the perimeter? With such a high shooting percentage, defenses should have been keying in on him, closing out hard. On every outside attempt, letting a shooter of his caliber have uncontested looks is a defensive lapse that can't be ignored. If it was known that Banchero was a legitimate deep threat, failing to apply pressure or contest his shots is inexcusable. Whether it was a breakdown in communication, a lapse in effort, or a strategic misjudgment, the decision to sag off or give him space was a costly mistake. In situations like these, defensive awareness and discipline are critical, especially against a player who has clearly proven he can knock down shots at a high clip.
Banchero unguarded for three. He got it. The Lakers, I'm not sure if they've been checking the scouting report, but
Was supposed to be the priority, but the Lakers struggled to execute effectively, particularly when switching on Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner's ball screens. Orlando capitalized on these switches, with Banchero doing an excellent job of sealing off defenders and establishing deep post position against smaller mismatches. His strength and footwork allowed him to secure easy scoring opportunities, putting immense pressure on the Lakers' interior defense. The Lakers' inability to contain these mismatches had a ripple effect throughout their defensive scheme. When Orlando secured offensive rebounds, it often forced the Lakers into rushed and reckless closeouts in an attempt to recover. This led to breakdowns in their defensive rotations, allowing the Magic to move the ball quickly with swing passes, creating open looks for shooters and high-percentage scoring chances. Orlando took full advantage of these defensive lapses, using crisp ball movement and smart decision-making to punish the Lakers for their mistakes. Whether it was Banchero asserting himself in the post, Wagner exploiting defensive miscommunications, or perimeter players capitalizing on the extra, the Magic's offensive execution put the Lakers on their heels. If the Lakers wanted to regain control, they needed to be more disciplined in their switches, communicate better on screens, and contest shots without overcommitting and leaving themselves vulnerable to quick ball movement.
Wagner back to Corey Joseph. Now corner three. KCP. This one's good. The former Laker makes his first shot of the night.
As KCP was the one that kept that one alive.
Into the mismatch between Austin Reeves and Franz Wagner created serious defensive challenges for the Lakers, forcing LeBron James into a strong side zone to help on the backside. This adjustment, while necessary to provide extra support against Wagner's size and skill, led to nearly impossible defensive rotations when trying to recover back to Orlando's perimeter shooters. The Magic recognized this defensive vulnerability and relentlessly attacked it, making Reeves their primary target in a hunt-at-all-costs game plan. Every time Wagner got the switch onto Reeves, Orlando made sure to exploit it, either by allowing Wagner to work in isolation or by using the advantage to collapse the defense and kick out to open shooters. The Lakers, stretched thin by these rotations, were often too late to contest, allowing Orlando to generate high-quality looks from beyond the arc. As the game progressed, the Magic's strategy continued to pay dividends. By forcing the Lakers into constant defensive scrambles, they dictated the pace and created a rhythm that heavily favored their offensive execution. If the Lakers wanted to counter this, they needed to find a way to either prevent the switch in the first place or provide better backside rotations without overcommitting and leaving shooters unchecked. Without an adjustment, Orlando's ability to exploit Reeves on mismatches remained a winning formula.
To Banchero, guarded by Reeves. Jump shot is good, nothing but net.
This was the moment when Luka Doncic began to shift the game in his favor, expertly using the momentum of opposing defenders against them. After a cold start, he adjusted by relying on his signature skill, manipulating defenders with his pace, footwork, and basketball IQ rather than pure speed or athleticism. Recognizing that defenders were aggressively closing out or overcommitting in an effort to contain him, Luka started to use their momentum against them. When defenders lunged toward him, he countered with controlled hesitations, step-backs or quick changes in direction, leaving them off balance. In pick-and-roll situations, he masterfully used his body to shield the ball while subtly shifting speeds, forcing defenders to react too soon or too late. In one-on-one matchups, Luka took advantage of defenders who tried to apply pressure by baiting them into reaching, then using a spin move, a slow-motion Euro step, or a deceptive hesitation. Dribble to create space. His ability to read the defense in real time allowed him to stay one step ahead, dictating the terms of engagement rather than letting the defense impose its will on him. This shift in approach not only helped Luka find his rhythm, but also opened up opportunities for his teammates. As defenders struggled to keep up with his pace manipulation, passing lanes opened, leading to easy baskets for cutters and spot-up shooters. By using defenders' aggression against them, Luka effectively turned the tide of the game, regaining control and putting his team in a position to capitalize on Orlando's defensive mistakes.
Doncic, gotta get the bounce, and he does.
Luka Doncic began to take control of the game. He masterfully used defenders' momentum against them, incorporating one of his most effective weapons, the pump fake. Recognizing that defenders were eager to contest his shots, he began baiting them into the air, lifting them with subtle yet deliberate fakes to create easy scoring opportunities. Luka's pump fake is particularly deadly because of his shooting ability and patience. Defenders, knowing he's a threat from deep, often rush to close out, expecting him to fire away. Instead, Luka stays calm, reading their reactions. The moment a defender bites on the fake and leaves their feet, he either sidesteps for an uncontested shot, initiates contact to draw a foul, or drives past them into open space. This move was especially effective when attacking off the dribble. In pick-and-roll situations, he used a quick pull-up motion to freeze defenders, causing them to jump prematurely, which allowed him to either lean in for a foul or glide past them for a layup. Against bigger defenders, he relied on patience. In the post, using shoulder fakes and pivots to get them off balance before finishing at the rim. By consistently forcing defenders to react on his terms, Luka dictated the flow of the game. The combination of his pump fake, footwork, and ability to manipulate pace kept the defense guessing, making him nearly impossible to guard one-on-one. His ability to lift defenders out of position not only created high-percentage shots for himself, but also opened up passing lanes for teammates, further breaking down Orlando's defensive structure.
Luka was second long, and they bailed him out. You cannot, if you're the Magic, under any circumstance,
To tell defenders to stay disciplined against Luka Doncic, close out under control, don't bite on fakes and stay grounded. But in reality, once Luka starts dictating the pace, he turns the game into a chess match, playing mind games with the entire defensive scheme. Defenders know they need to stay patient, yet Luka has a way of lulling them into mistakes. He'll establish a rhythm with slow, deliberate dribbles, then suddenly accelerate. He'll sell the shot with his body language, only to hesitate at the last second and watch defenders jump out of position. The moment a defender thinks they've figured him out, he adjusts, whether it's a step-back three, a quick drive, or a perfectly timed pass to a cutting teammate. His pump fake is just one tool in his psychological warfare. Once defenders become hesitant, unsure whether to contest hard or stay back, Luka takes full control. If they overcommit, he punishes them with fouls. If they sag off, he drains an open shot. If they stay disciplined, he breaks them down with footwork, using spins, pivots, and deceptive changes in pace to create space where there seemingly was none. The real challenge isn't just guarding Luka physically, it's keeping up with him mentally. He forces defenders into impossible choices, constantly shifting between scorer, playmaker, and manipulator. By the time a team tries to adjust, he's already 2 steps ahead, picking apart the next weak spot in their game plan.
Luka for three! Fresh snow from the outside here in a warm evening in Orlando.